There I am. I am live. Hello, hello. It's Catherine Massell, Ascending Earth Creatrix, Spiritual Growth Catalyst, Master Intuitive Energy Healer. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. I've got some juicy tidbits to share with you today. And I'm really inspired to talk about this stuff and share some things with you because we are in a time right now where we're still kind of accelerating or reaching our crescendo with the 11:11 portal. The energies haven't really reached their apex yet, which is interesting, even though yesterday was 11:11. But you know, when we're talking about this kind of multi-dimensional magic happening, we're really not talking about a linear timeline. So when we think about a portal of energy opening, we kind of have to get out of our head and stop thinking about linear time. We have to think about it as a package or a larger bubble, a sphere of energy that we're working with that expands outward. That's a good way to kind of think about it or conceptualize it. So we are still riding the high, riding the wave of accelerated energies that are really helping to give like a big push for our intentions. So those of you who are in the habit of setting intentions around the new moon, you already got a head start on this. But if you are wanting to manifest something right now, if you want to be, do, or have something right now, you are really, really in this kind of sweet spot for getting a big energetic push from the universe to help you manifest whatever it is you want to be, do, or have. So there's my little preface to what I'm talking about. I'm going to share this in a couple places. And I don't know who's here live because it hasn't shown up in my comments, but say hello, don't be shy. I don't bite. Sharing there. Maybe I'll just go ahead and share. Yeah, I'm going to share there. And I'm going to share in my group, the Money Lab. And speaking of the Money Lab, if you like what I'm talking about here today, if you like what I'm sharing with you here today, there's a lot more where this comes from. Hi, Colleen, in the Money Lab. So the last date to join the Money Lab is December 1st. So if you want to get in on this really, really powerful course, got some amazing members in there, and people are manifesting money. I'm just going to go out and say it. People are manifesting money, but it is not just about this course. This membership group is really not just about manifesting some extra scratch at the end of the month. It is really about changing your wealth consciousness and really leaving behind your old programming, your old patterning around lack consciousness, and really creating a whole new personal reality, personal identity around wealth and abundance and prosperity. So it's a lot more than just teaching you how to manifest some money. It goes way, way bigger than that. So, hey, Courtney. I was just talking about the Money Lab and how it's more than just manifesting some extra scratch. It's about learning how to become a whole new person. Because let's face it, if we're talking about manifesting something like money, you really have to move out of the mindset of a lack mentality in order to manifest something that is of a wealth vibration. So you have to leave an old self behind. And a lot of people don't realize this when they're manifesting, that it's a 24/7 gig. I mean, you have to be thinking, feeling, believing, acting in accordance with what you are calling in. So if you want to just not do this one-off manifesting thing where you could, scratch it up to luck, and you want to go forward and be a master manifester in your life, then this is what is involved here, is creating a whole new personal reality for yourself around wealth, abundance, and prosperity. And that is what I'm teaching you in this course. And for the price of $197, you are getting such an amazing wealth of material, of content, of support. There's amazing people in this group who are all supporting each other, which is something I love to see. I love this group. Everybody's really active and engaged and dynamically involved in their own healing process and releasing process and upgrading process. So We are going until the end of December. So for 197, you can get in on here. And the last day to join up for the Money Lab is December 1st. And next year when I teach it, which will probably be February, and we'll go for 8 or 9 weeks probably, maybe 10, I don't know. Because it takes 6 to 8 weeks to create a whole new personal identity, a personal reality. So the course has to be at least 8 weeks. But when I offer it again, it's going to be $297, which will still be way worth it. So think about that. If you want to hit the ground running in 2019 with a different mindset, a different way of being, a wealth consciousness, then this membership group is for you. Okay. So let's get to the topic at hand. Courtney says, for sure, much deeper than just the cash. Totally. So, like I said at the beginning of the call, we are really working with accelerated manifestation energies right now. So, this is a time to kind of, the universe is handing you the baton and saying, okay, well, let's pick up and start running with this because we got so much energy behind you that is giving like a huge push for an upgrade. Let's run with this. Let's go with this. So I want to have this call here today to help you break from the habit of focusing on your physical reality. And I'm going to tell you why that's so important in just a second. Hey, Sarah. And also, I want to give you some kind of things to play with because manifesting is about putting your creator ability into action, yes? I mean, I can talk about manifesting all day, but manifesting is the act of creating something, of calling something forth to you. So it's very experiential. So I want to give you some quick tips and tools to kind of play with to help you work with these accelerated energies and kind of pick up the pace on your manifesting abilities. So go to my notes here. So why do you need to break from the habit of focusing on your physical reality if you're talking about manifesting? Well, first of all, you need to know that 99.99999% of what we call reality has not yet been made manifest. It is not part of the physical. It has not yet taken form, in other words. So when we are focused on our physical reality, when I say physical reality, I'm talking about when you look out and you see your life in front of you. You see your house, you see your stuff, you see your car, you see your job, you see the things that you have actively created in your life, the things that have been made manifest already. They make up your physical reality. So the brain, in terms of what it focuses on, gets feedback from your external environment, meaning when you look out and see what you have in front of you and you place a judgment on it, because usually we're coming from a place of ego, because we're looking out and witnessing our external reality from an unconscious place, which is literally coming from the ego, because everything that we do in our daily habits and how we think, how we feel, how we act, it's pretty much by rote. It's on a program. And this is largely run by the subconscious, okay? About 95% is run by the subconscious. So when you look out at your physical reality and you are so focused, you are so fixed on you just witnessing what is, you are ignoring the other 99.99999% of reality. What is fixed as physical reality when you look out at your external environment, that's only 0.0001% of reality. The rest, that other 99.9999%, that is pure potential. It's pure essence. Meaning, in other words, it is there for us to play with because we are the creators of our reality. That is form that is just waiting to be created over there. But if we're so fixed on our physical reality, we only see what is, you're actually focused on only 0.0001% of reality that is physical, that has been made manifest. You're ignoring potential. You are ignoring possibility. You are ignoring different outcomes of being that might be more preferable or favorable to you. Hi, Svetlana. So how does your mind focus? How does your mind focus? So when you are fixed on your physical reality, here's what's happening in the mind. If you understand that on a quantum level, talking about a quantum level here, because that's what I'm saying when I use those numbers of 99.9999% is pure potential, and that 0.0001%, 0.0001% is only our physical reality. That small little portion. So why do we spend so much of our time focused on that small percentage, that potential of reality that's already been made manifest? And it's kind of a waste of our time anyway, because we're focused on something that's already done. It's already a done deal. And what happens when we do focus on it, when we bring our mind into attention and focus on only the physical, we, through our thoughts and our feelings, our beliefs and our actions, just create more of it. So if you are looking out in your physical reality and you are judging it from this place of, I don't really like my physical reality very much, then ask yourself in the next question, why am I spending so much time thinking about something I really don't enjoy? Why am I so personally invested and so, tunnel vision on what I am looking at day to day, all day long? And then when you are looking at your external environment and witnessing it and constantly observing what is, you're constantly placing a value judgment on it. And if it's not very good, here's what happens with your feelings, because your thoughts and your feelings are on a feedback loop with each other. Think about it as a figure eight. Your thoughts and your feelings are feeding each other on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It never stops. So when you have a thought about your physical environment that's not very good, you're going to have a feeling that matches it, because your thought will match your external environment and your feeling matches your thought. Okay? So what it does, it just creates more of the same, more of the same. So if you're not liking your external environment very much, if you're just thinking about it more of the same, witnessing it all the time, observing that, and ignoring all the other potentials or all other outcomes of the way your life could be, you are just creating more of what is. Okay? So if we understand that on a quantum level, this is literally ignoring that 99.999999% of potential reality that is just pure essence. It's just void. And I know it's hard from a conceptual standpoint, using the analytical mind, to grasp the idea of the void, but it is so vast, it is so full of potential, it is so ripe with possibility that literally anything that we want to focus on instead of our physical reality that we see in front of us in our external environment can be manifested from this void. So maybe you're starting to feel the gravity of this, to feel the weight of, well, I'm just focusing on my physical reality, which is such a small percentage on a quantum level of what is or what is possible. And really, I could be focusing on this over here, turning away from this outcome, which is already made manifest, and I can't really do anything about it. So putting my energy into it is just making more of the same. And instead, I can focus on this essence, this pure void, the pure potential of being, and literally create anything I want to be, do, or have. This is what we're missing out on when we focus on our physical reality. So this is why we got to chuck it. This is why we got to break from the habit of doing this. This doesn't happen overnight. That's why I'm teaching you this in the Money Lab, because it does take a few weeks to really anchor this in. And we have to not just do this once, turn our attention to the void, to the essence of pure potential. It has to be done repetitively. It has to be done over and over and over, because you are breaking from an old program and you are creating a new one. Okay? So we have to stop ignoring this field of creation that all new manifestations, all new outcomes come from. Okay? So how does the mind respond when we're focused on something? So I want to do a fun little exercise with you, because I want to have you realize, because what I said at the beginning of this call, it's very experiential, yes? I could talk about manifesting all day long, but it is something we have to experience and feel, okay, for ourselves. So I want to give you a little playful example of how the mind works, okay? How it works when we are focused on something. So look around at the room that you're in right now, okay? Focus on finding all the things in the room that you're in that are blue. Just go ahead. Look at all the things. Take about 20 seconds and mentally catalog all the things that you see that are blue, okay? Literally, you're giving your mind instruction for something to focus on, okay? And so now once you've done that, do it for about 20 seconds, a couple more seconds. Take it all in, okay? All right. So you might have noticed a lot of things that are blue, okay? And here's some interesting things about that. So during this process, how many things did you notice that were green? Probably not very many. Because you gave the mental instruction to your mind, which is literally the brain in action. You gave mental instruction to your brain to engage in an action, and that was to focus on things that were the color blue. That's how powerful it is to direct your own mind. It didn't even notice the things that were green. How many people noticed things that were green? Just go ahead and put it in the comments. So you probably didn't notice very many. In fact, you were probably so focused on finding things that were the color blue because you had given your mind that powerful instruction. And one of the brilliant ways the mind works, the conscious and the subconscious mind work together, is that once you give it an instruction, Courtney says not whatsoever. Once you give it an instruction, it is so focused on that task. It is so hypersensitive and so hyper-focused to that task. It will literally veil everything else to you. Because you have asked for something, and this is how the subconscious and conscious mind work together. When you ask for something immediately, you're asking to call up a piece of information, that is how focused the mind is in responding to you. Okay? So it literally veils everything else in your physical environment to you other than what is needed by you immediately in that moment. How powerful is that? Give me a heart if you're starting to get what I'm going for here, okay? I did one, but because my sweater is normally green, but I saw it blue. See, that's the other thing that I was going to get to here. Because your mind is so focused on that mental instruction that you had given it, what it'll do then is look for things that are sort of kind of blue. Maybe aquamarine, maybe blue-ish, right? Maybe blue-gray. And it'll catalog those things too, because in vibrational terms, it's something that vibrates along the same wavelength. Okay? That's how powerful the mind is when you give it instruction. Hi, Katrina. So, in fact, you're probably so focused on this blue and finding things that were blue that you found things that were blue-ish, right? And then you added them to your personal inventory when you were spending that 20 seconds looking for something. And notice how focused you felt when you spent, it probably wasn't even 20 seconds, when you spent about 15, 20 seconds focusing on that. Notice how, even though I had given you that instruction, you gave your mind that instruction then, and you had a job to do, the mind had a job to do, and it was like, okay, here we go. What if you did that throughout your day, every day, except you focused on things that you were giving mental instructions to that were much more favorable in your experience, that were much more preferable for you in your external experience? The mind is solely focused on then showing you those things that you are giving it mental instruction to find. Make sense? Okay. So when you go back now and look at the things in your space, you'll see how many things that you didn't see the first time because you were so focused on the color blue. You might look back around your room and see things that are brown, and maybe you didn't really recognize, oh, that's brown, that's been brown this whole time, or something that is sitting on your desk, or something that is just out your window that I'm looking out. I look out at my backyard and the street beyond me, and I see now, as I look out, all the things that are green and brown, and I just noticed that this person had just painted their awning yesterday. Because I'm giving my mind mental instruction to go or look around the room again and see all the things that were veiled to me the first time. This is how powerful the mind is, okay? Same with me. I looked at my green sweater and thought it's not blue. Nice. So this is how, when you are hyper-focused on something, the brain can be programmed to seek out what you want. And what is it that we're talking about? We're talking about manifesting. We're giving the brain, the mind literally, which is the brain in action, mental instruction to seek out those things that we are looking for. But if we are so hyper-focused on our physical reality, that which has already been made manifest, which is already part of physical reality, which is only 0.0001% of reality and potential reality, why then would we spend so much time investing our focus, our attention, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions into just interacting with this very, very teeny tiny percent of reality, especially when it is not very favorable to us? You start to see what I'm getting at here? So if you are very focused on what you observe in your daily reality of what you see in your external world, in your outer world, and feeling the feelings that match what you see, thinking the thoughts that match what you see, because when you make that engagement, that interaction with your external environment, you will naturally think a thought about it. It might be, I don't really like all those bills piled up on my tables right now. I don't really like the clutter in my house. I don't like my janky car. And that's going to, like I talked about, the feedback loop of thoughts and feelings, it's going to bring you a matching feeling. It has to. This is called congruence, okay? So you have this congruence of thinking, doing, and being, okay? Thinking and being we already talked about, okay? Think of your thoughts as an electric signature, okay? This puts out a signal to the universe saying, okay, well, I have this feeling, or I have this thought about my environment or what I'm seeing or what I'm witnessing, and so that sends an electric signature to the universe that says, okay, well, if I'm focused on this, the universe says, well, that must mean you want more of it. Then you will have a feeling that matches that thought, because it has to, because they're in a constant feedback loop, your thoughts and your feelings. So then your feelings, think of those as your magnetic signature. So then you are sending out, you are casting out a magnetic signature with your feeling, with your emotions, okay? And what that does, when that signal, that magnetic signature from you reaches the universe, what it does is the field, let's just call it the field of potential, of infinite potential, the void that I talked about, it will send back to you a matching vibration, a matching frequency, something that matches your feeling. You will always magnetize that to you, because that's how the world of vibration, energy, and frequency works. And we all live in that world. So if you're feeling those feelings that match those thoughts, which allows you to behave then in a certain way, you're just living out a program that can only bring you more of that same thing of which you're currently experiencing, unless you change the program. So do you see how the thoughts and the feelings and the behaviors all work together, how they all feed each other, okay? And I talk about this much more in the Money Lab, by the way. So now I want you to take this bit of information and I want you to imagine that everything that you want is right in front of you right now. Think of when you create a desire, meaning you have a thought about what you want, and you feel what it would feel like to have it. You're sending out then that electromagnetic signature, because remember, the thoughts and the feelings together, electric plus magnetic. So you're sending out an electromagnetic signature to the universe, saying, this is my desire, this is what I want, bring it back to me, please. Because the magnetic signature is what brings it back to you. Your feelings are always what brings your desire back to you and allows it to manifest in the physical, if you will allow yourself to receive it, that is. So imagine that everything you want, everything you desire is right there in front of you. You could reach out and touch it. It's right there, because the second you launch that desire, it exists in the ethers. It's already been made manifest in the ethereal. It just hasn't been made manifest in the physical yet, because you haven't called it back to you with more of your vibration to match it. Because when you match the universal mind, when you match the universal field of potential with your thoughts and your feelings, you are magnetizing it to you. You are making it manifest in the physical. But oftentimes we get really tripped up on how to do this, because we keep going back to focus back on our physical reality. This is going to trip us up, and this is going to screw us up every single time, because you are sending out a vibration of incongruence. Meaning, you might have the thought of what you desire and what you want to create, and you're sending that out to the universe all the time, saying, I really want this. I really want this $5,000. I really want this $2,000 so I can go on this vacation, whatever that is. But you don't have a feeling that matches it. You literally are not engaged in a frequency that is the same as that thought. So you're incongruent. So what this is doing is allowing you to focus because you're not feeling it, because you're probably focused on something in your physical environment that says, well, I've never done this before. Look at my life, look at my past, right on up to my present. I've never been able to do this before. Why would I be able to do it now? You're sending a signature of incongruence because your thoughts don't match your feelings. Your thoughts have to match your feelings. So if you think about everything that's right in front of you right now that you could possibly desire, that you could possibly want, but you can't see it because you don't have the program to perceive its existence. So think about your thoughts being in congruence with your feelings as this new program. You have to run a new program. This is done through repetition. This is done through concerted effort. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time because we are so programmed, especially with our ego duality focus. We are programmed to lack. We are programmed to witness the absence of what it is that we want. So we are literally breaking from that lifetime of programming. This is not something that's done overnight. And I'm not the kind of coach or teacher that's going to tell you, oh, it's easy. You'll be able to do it in a minute. It's not easy, but it's possible. You can do it. And understanding these fundamentals, understanding this baseline that I'm putting down for you here, this kind of like manifesting 101, you can do it. You can get it. The members in my Money Lab are getting it. They're doing it right now. And it's really fantastic to watch. So what if you could have this program then? What if you could have this program to not only perceive what you want, literally put yourself in the process of leaning into that field of potential that's 99.9999% of potential reality, where the outcomes you do desire exist and can be created. What if you could perceive from that place instead of, which is creator mode, I call it, instead of observer mode, which is you just witnessing your physical reality of your everyday life that may not be so wonderful. What if you could have this program to not only perceive what you want, but also interact with it? Because that's what creator mode is all about, interacting with it, playing with the clay of the essence of the void that creates this essence into form. That's why we are such powerful creators. And we got to witness this today because you got to play with the power of mind. So you know it's possible, right? And then not only interact with this field, but magnetize things to you with it. Remember, because running a new program means that you have to be in congruence. Your thoughts and your feelings have to match, okay? And if you are creating something that is going to become your external environment, think about it in reverse. What you're looking at and witnessing now in your physical reality is your external environment, which is causing a thought, which is causing a feeling. But what if you start with the thought? What if you pick that up and match it with a feeling and then create your external environment? It works both ways, people. Yup. It's really exciting when it does work that way, because when you get to finally magnetize what it is that you are calling to you and have it be made physically manifest and realize that you did it, there's no better feeling in the world. And you can do it, okay? So how do you do this? So let me give you some things to play with, okay? So choose one or two things, and this is something you can play with tonight. And I invite you to listen to this again and write some of these things down that really stick out to you, because remember what I said, the way we learn to put in a new program is through repetition. It's not going to happen overnight. So you have to do this constantly. You have to make a concerted effort to do this work, okay? But once you start doing it and playing with this and start realizing how powerful the mind is, how powerful mental instruction for the mind is, how powerful your feelings are in causing a magnetic signature that draws what you want back to you is, you'll do this all the time, and it stops being something that you do, and it just becomes who you are, okay? Even better, fifth dimension, Stephanie. Because what I'm teaching in the Money Lab is really more of a 5D approach to this, because we take it even deeper. So how do you do this? So choose one or two things that you want to manifest right now. Let's just say they are short-term goals, okay? Whatever that is, something you want to be, do, or have. Think of one or two things right now, or you can just listen to me talking about this now, and then you can do this exercise tonight. You can journal about it. Number 2, After you've thought of your two things. And if you really want to be devoted to calling this thing in right now, just focus on one thing. Because you can always focus on the next thing tomorrow or the next day after you manifested this, okay? Number 2 is mentally rehearse. Okay, remember, you are giving the mind mental instruction. And we've already seen how well that goes for you, right? So to mentally rehearse is to see and feel yourself living as if you already have this thing you're calling in, whatever you want to be, do, or have. See yourself doing, being, or having this thing. Ask yourself, what would it look like if I were fill in the blanks? If I were in a loving relationship? If I had $5,000? If I made $10,000 every day in my business? If I had a new car? It doesn't matter what it is. Put that mental instruction out there. What would it look like if I had blah, 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 whatever it is. You'll want to do this when you don't have any distractions, okay? If you are really in observer mode, which means you're being triggered by your physical outer environment some way, don't do this at that time, because you're literally trying to create something with a mind that created this problem in the first place, the problem you want to get out of. And we can never solve a problem with the same vibration or the same perspective that created it. So change the subject, do something else, go back to it at a later time, okay? When you feel more calm and more in control. Because what you are really doing here is controlling the mind. But if your external environment is so strong for you at the moment that it is controlling the mind, this is not the time for you to do this. Does that make sense? Give me a heart if that makes sense. So you want to remove as much distraction. Hey, Crystal. You want to remove as much distraction as possible. And mentally rehearse. So when you are putting this mental instruction out there, I got some hearts. Awesome. Very cool. What would it look like if I were, if I had, if I could be, whatever it is? If I am. Better yet, when you frame this question, don't put yourself in the future. Put it in the now. Put it in the present tense. Because we don't create in the future, we create in the now. So make everything present. That's why when you mentally rehearse and you go into the space of feeling and thinking as if you have this thing, you're doing it as if you have it right now, as if it's in your life right now. And if you're really good at this, mental rehearsal, and it takes practice with this, but once you get really good at mental rehearsal, you can do this in like 10 minutes a day. I do this 10 minutes a day every morning. I'll mentally rehearse my day, or I'll mentally rehearse something I'm going to be doing this week and make that my focus for like a week. I'm so good now at getting all the thoughts, all of my energy organized in such a way that my thoughts and feelings are all on board and congruent in what it is that I'm focused on creating. Remember, congruence is everything. Your thoughts and your feelings have to match. That's why if you're focused really, keenly on something in your physical environment that's distracting you, your thoughts and your feelings aren't going to match. So you have to find another time to do it, okay? Or get yourself out of the situation. Do some breathing, some biofeedback technique with the body where you can feel the breath and feel into the present moment, okay? And once you get really good at this, here's what happens. You're giving the mind and the body such powerful instruction through having thoughts that match the feelings and the feelings match the thoughts, and you have total congruence, that the mind doesn't know any different from you imagining this or it being made physical in your outer environment. The mind doesn't make that differentiation. As far as your mind is concerned, especially the subconscious, it's real, it's there, it's now, it's present. It is part of your current reality. That's what happens when you get really good at it. That's what turns you into a master manifester, okay? Number 3, you can also write your short-term goals down, okay? And write them down with a timeline, okay? So that's why it's fun to do this exercise at first with short-term goals. And if you really want to play with this, and maybe you don't trust your abilities as a master manifester yet, well, go ahead and test yourself out. Maybe you want a short-term goal to be, you want the universe to show you as many blue butterflies in the next 24 hours, because remember, you want to work in a timeline, that it possibly can. So you just write that down. I want to see as many blue butterflies as possible, and your timeline is the next 24 hours. So literally, it's 3:41 here. 3:41 tomorrow, I want to see as many blue butterflies as I possibly can. This also causes the brain, because you're giving it mental instruction, remember, You're giving the brain mental instruction to then look for these blue butterflies. Now that means that other things that you're not focused on may be veiled to you. So you want to bear this in mind when you ask for something so specific like this. Because you may see a million green butterflies too, but remember from the exercise that we did in here, you may not see those. You probably won't, as a matter of fact. Or if you do see them as green, you'll convince yourself they're kind of bluish, and you'll lump them into that blue butterfly category. Remember how that worked when we did the exercise? Or you can work with something that, maybe you want to manifest like $100 in the next 24 hours, or maybe $1,000. Maybe you have like, if you're a healer or light worker in here, maybe you've got a program that you're offering, and maybe you want to sell 3 spots in that program, and it's 100,000 or not 100,000. I'm going really big with my goals these days. Maybe they're $1,000 each for these spots. Maybe you want to manifest that as a short-term goal in the next 72 hours. You want to manifest these 3 dream clients of yours. Whatever it is, okay? Give yourself the timeline and write it down. And you want to look at it throughout your day. You want to give yourself mental cues throughout the day to think about, okay, blue butterflies. Maybe you can, on a Post-it note, write blue butterfly on it, stick it on your fridge. Stick it somewhere where you're going to see it. Put it in your purse. Put it in your wallet next to your money. The idea is to get the mind so entrained on focusing on a certain thing that its only job then is to look for that in your external environment, to seek that out, to find it, and provide you with the evidence of that, okay? So yeah, write notes to yourself throughout the day. It creates a new neural pathway as well when you do that. By constantly focusing on blue butterflies or the 3 dream clients that you want, you are giving the brain such powerful and focused mental instruction that it is really only focused on that task. So when you're entirely focused on a task, what happens to you? You kind of lose yourself, right? When you are in full-on creator mode, you're so focused on creating that thing that time kind of falls away. Now here's an interesting thing about that. When time falls away, that means you're not a slave to your past. When time falls away, you're not a slave to seeing what is in your present external environment and focusing all your attention and reality on that. Does that make sense? Catherine, that's what I want to make. 100,000 rubles. You are reading my thoughts. Awesome. Go for it. Write it down. I have no idea what that translates into in American dollars. Maybe you can help me out with that. You can be my currency converter, Svetlana. So number 4 was, write notes to yourself. Write it down. Draw little doodles and pictures of what it is that you want. Go into mental rehearsal a couple times a day. This is something you'll want to do. If you really want to accelerate your manifesting abilities, you're going to want to go into mental rehearsal a couple different times a day. When your mind is fresh, before you look at your emails, your texts, what have you in the morning, do a mental rehearsal. Spend 10 minutes making sure your thoughts and feelings match what it is that you desire and what you are calling to you. Do it before you go to bed at night. Sometimes this is troublesome for people because we do this kind of mental replay or rollback of our day. And if we had a particularly trying day, we'll also mentally roll back the emotions that we had, because that's how powerful the mind is. If we're rolling back certain things, events, experiences in our day that made us think a certain thing, it's going to make us feel a certain thing as if it's happening all over again. So sometimes doing mental rehearsal at the end of the day before you go to bed isn't the right time for everyone. So find the optimal time in your day for you, when you're not distracted and when you can fully put your focus and attention on what it is that you are desiring and you're calling in with your thoughts and feelings. Does that make sense? Number 5, use afformations, not affirmations. Afformations, A-F-F-O-R-M-A-T-I-O-N-S. This upgrades the energetic of the subconscious mind. It helps it to look for and direct its focus on all the ways of what you're asking for to show up for you. You are upgrading the energetic of the subconscious because you are giving it a better job to do than ask you questions like, why am I so poor? Why is never anything working out for me? Why can't I ever find my keys? Why is my boyfriend so shitty to me? On and on and on and on. So we're using afformations all the time. That's putting the statement of what you want in the form of a question. So we use negative afformations all the time. to use positive affirmations, and I talk about this a lot in the Money Lab. You are upgrading the subconscious by giving it a higher energetic to work with. You are giving it mental instruction by asking it a question. Why am I so abundant? Why am I getting so many new clients who are my soulmate clients? Why am I getting so much more interest when I put out Facebook posts? Why am I seeing so many new pathways of abundance opening for me? Why am I seeing all the ways I'm so healthy, wealthy, and wise? It doesn't matter what it is, but frame what you want into a powerful question, because what it triggers the mind to do is go into this thing called a presupposition factor. So when you come up with a question like that, why am I so abundant? The presupposition factor in your subconscious mind says, oh, we're assuming that's already true. So now you've given it mental instruction to find all the ways that you are so abundant. Powerful. It's about $1,500. Okay, cool. Awesome. Very, very nice. So the more you program the brain to look beyond the physical, the less focused you become, focused on what is, right? Your present reality, your current reality that may not be so favorable to you. And the less you start feeling equal to your physical environment, because you're literally turning into the void. You're turning into the outcome, that place where that outcome can be created from pure essence, pure form. You're leaning into this energetic instead of the energetic of the physical reality, which is just a small, small, microscopic part of reality. And we spend so much of our time marinating in this when we could be leaning into the energetic of the void. We could be leaning into the energetic of the womb of cosmic consciousness, the pure potential of being and all the outcomes that run into the infinite of different ways of being that are more favorable and preferable to us. Subsequently, you'll be cued to start acting differently. And this is the most important part, okay? Because it is crucial that you do this, because your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and your behaviors, they are all on a feedback loop with each other. Remember what I mentioned before. It's not just your thoughts and your feelings, but those thoughts and feelings create beliefs, because they are thoughts and feelings that you've created or had exist on a continuum over time. That creates a belief, then it creates a story, then it creates a pattern, it creates a program, right? There are behaviors involved in that, and these are all on a feedback loop. Hi, Zibo. So it is crucial that you take some form of action, because this solidifies in your physical reality the truth of what it is that you're creating. So you have to take actions and behaviors that are in accordance with what you are creating, what you are desiring, what you want to manifest. Okay? This is the crucial part. And what it does, because you're on this feedback loop, one signaling the other, okay, from on and on and on and on, if one of the things isn't in alignment with the other, if a feeling isn't in alignment with the thought, if the thought isn't in alignment with the behavior, if a behavior isn't in alignment with a belief, you have incongruence. Okay? Here's why this is so important. If one of these things isn't in alignment with the others, you create an incongruent vibration. That means if you're trying to manifest something new or create a new way of being, if you don't have congruence, meaning all those parts are in agreement and in alignment, you'll just default to the old way of being, because that's what's familiar. You'll default to the old way of thinking, believing, feeling, doing, and acting. Okay? You must be sending a message every day to the mind. This is how you become a master manifester. You must be sending a message every day to the mind and body that what you want to manifest, call to you, is more important than what is in your current reality. It must be greater than your current reality. Your current reality is fixed in congruence. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been made manifest. It would not have been made manifest. Your physical reality would not be presented to you as such if your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, and your beliefs weren't all in alignment with each other. That's how it got made manifest. So if you want to make something else manifest, you must have this level of congruence. Thoughts, feelings, behaviors, actions, beliefs, all have to be in alignment with each other. And the signature of it, meaning, when I talked before about the electromagnetic signature of it, your thoughts and your feelings have to be so powerful that it tells the subconscious mind, it gives mental direction to the mind that this is what we want, because this is much more powerful and important than what is. And it gets that signal only if you're putting all your attention, your focus on awareness of that new outcome that you're creating. Does that make sense? That is the only way you can manifest something that is different from what you've already manifested. That's the only way. And anyone tells you different, I'd be wary of that. This is how the mind works, okay? This is neurochemistry here. So your current reality is fixed in congruence. It is in agreement. So let's just say it's fixed with lack. If you're looking out in your environment and saying, okay, well, I see the absence of money, or I see the absence of love, or whatever it is, you are fixed in your congruent physical reality in a place of lack, if that makes sense. Because that's what you've been feeling. That's what you've been thinking. That's what you've been believing. And you're acting in a way that's in accordance, in agreement, in congruence with that. So that's why congruence is so important. If you want something new, what you think, feel, and how you act must be greater than what you think and feel now. Okay? Because that's the only way you're going to send mental instruction for the brain to look for something different. Okay? And literally, if you're not sending that message to the brain that what you are wanting to create is so different and it has a different outcome for you, if you're not really clear and congruent with that, what you're asking to create will just be veiled to you. It has to be greater than what you're already seeing, feeling, knowing, believing. Does that make sense? Give me a heart if that makes sense. And so we work on this much more deeply in the Money Lab. You have to overcome your old way of being. And to all the parts of you, you have to send that message that we're doing something different. We're feeling something different. We're acting differently. We're calling in something differently. All parts of you have to be on the same page. You have to be congruent. And it has to be big and bold and passionate and powerful, because it must be greater than. You must be sending the signature and the signal to your mind that it's more important what I'm creating over here than what's already been created over here. I don't want more of the same of that. I want something different. So what you're asking for should be a little bolder. It should be a little bigger. It should be more than what you've asked for before, because that is how powerful we are as creators. And the paradox is that's how powerful we are as creators, but that's the only way you can really create something new. That's my talk. I have to go because I'm going to be a guest on a podcast, but I'm glad I had time for that, because I hope that really, really found you well and gave you some inspiration today. So play with these energies, because we have such an amazing power surge of accelerated energy now that is helping us take all of our intentions that are ripe for manifesting and bringing them into the physical at such a quick accelerated rate right now. So play with this. Play with this now. Don't sit on the fence. Don't think that you can't do it, because that mindset is what got you in the problem of lack in the first place. Think that you can do it. Tell the mind that you can do it, that you are doing this, and then don't be surprised at the outcome of what happens. Don't know how many times I've heard this, but it's landing even stronger this time. Because, Courtney, it's repetition. That's why I talk about this stuff over and over and over. And I'm going to be talking about more of this again on Saturday, because this is how we run a new program. It has to be stronger than the old one. And the only way it's going to be stronger than the old one is through repetition. So, yeah, don't be hard on yourself for that. It's just the way the mind works. We have to literally be hit over the head with this stuff like a million times. So I hope this has all found you very well, and that you'll take some of these exercises and really run with this and have some fun. And I look forward to hearing how it works out for you. Let me know. Maybe you guys will manifest something really, really quickly. I'd love to hear about it. So I want to wish you love and peace. Bye-bye.